Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Tabor with Keystroke Software, and it's just after 10 o'clock, so we will get started. Today we're going to go over the Ingenico devices. One I have with me today is the Ingenico iSC250. It's an end-to-end encryption device used with Mercury payment systems. Throughout the program today, I'll be kind of moving aside and trying to hold it up to show you the device. This is it here. This is the iSC250. There is another device that's a little more high-end. It's an iSC350. It has a bigger display, more options, but pretty much its big feature is a bigger display. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this device today. Again, this is an end-to-end encryption device. It's used in Keystroke POS and Keystroke Express POS, keeping in mind that Express POS only uses end-to-end encrypted devices for Mercury and Merchant Warehouse. So what we'll talk about, again, this is our Keystroke Live every Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. We go ahead and do a 10 o'clock presentation, and we do record these and put them on YouTube under Keystroke Live ! What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the mute button on my application to mute everyone. If you have any urgent questions, please use the chat function down below in your meeting, and I'll see if I can read the question. At the very end, we'll open it up for different communication and questions. All right. So again, this is the iSC250 device. This is an end-to-end encrypted device. This has a color display. Sorry if there's any glare or reflection today. It has a end-to-end mag strip reader on it over here on the side. It has a pin pad, as you can see down below, and it has a signature capture, which is going to be on the screen. You can purchase these from JR's POS Depot, and as you see in the screenshot I have here, you're going to ask for the RBA application to be loaded. You're going to ask for end-to-end mag strip key to be injected, and the end-to-end duck pin pad key to be injected. So there's pretty much three injection fees, if you want to think of it that way, that you're going to add to this device to get it working. We work with both a USB or serial cable. The device I have today is a USB device, and I'll show you how to install their Django driver. They call this the Telium platform. So I'll jump right into what we would normally ship on a CD, and we'll make these available in the near future on the internet, in case you don't have a current 715 CD. This device is supported in 7.15 build 50 or above, and we're currently shipping build 50, and we should be shipping build 51 within the next week or so. On a typical CD, we would have you might see this up at the top, a iSC250 Telium driver folder. Underneath it is a Django driver folder. And let me go back a step. This is just some supporting documentation from the Telium and how to change the actual settings on the device. But once you set it up for USB, and actually it comes set up that way, but if you wanted to change it for a different cable, you could. You would then need to install their program. Now their program here is called the Ingenico USB driver 2.20 setup. We have actually created an install batch file here that will actually install it on COM6. I'm going to go ahead and double click it now. It takes about a minute or so to run. And you'll see this batch file is kind of like in silent mode, and it talks about just please wait, and after a few minutes it'll come back with a finished message, and then we can plug in the device. This is again using the USB device. It kind of creates a virtual to COM serial driver. So as I mentioned at the bottom of the slide, you can run the install.bat file to install the Telium Django driver. We have set up that batch file to install on COM6. If you think you're using a COM6 port, you can actually edit that batch file and change the port number. Or you can run their full setup and go through the different screens and set up the port appropriately. There are a lot of different screens and setups that I think installing in silent mode usually seems to be best. Back to my little batch file here. It still looks like it's installing the driver. And I can hear it kind of doing its little business there. Excuse me while I step away from the camera. It says it's finished. I'm going to plug the device in. We'll hear it beep beep a few more times. So I've gone ahead and then I'm going to hit enter to close that. And we should be back to our PowerPoint. So the program has been installed. I will kind of show you just quickly in Device Manager what you might see. Let me bounce around here a few times. All right, so I am in Device Manager here. And if I open up my COM ports, you'll see the Ingenico iSC250 COM port. If you don't actually see the COM number here, but with a little bit of digging in, you can double check and change this if you ever need to. I'm going to go to the Advanced tab under Ports, and you'll see at the bottom it says it's on COM 6. You'll see at the top it's on COM 6, and that's the way I've got it set up, and we'll show you how it works here in Keystroke. Going to close a few things, and we'll get back to, let's go ahead and get into Keystroke. All right, so here we are in Keystroke. Let me go show you the settings in Configuration Manager. Again, as all pin pads are set up under Hardware and Pin Pad. I've already gone ahead and selected this. Normally you would come in and you would see something like this. It would be blank. You would select it from the list. The newer devices are at the top of the list. We have the Genius for Merchant Warehouse, and then these 3 devices below are the end-to-end encryption devices for Mercury. Selecting that, I would hit enter on port. I would see my COM 6 port, and I would take all the defaults. In this case, this is a faster baud rate, the 115200 number, and N81. Just say OK to that. These are functions you can turn on and off in Keystroke to allow or disallow this device to do different options. For my example here, I've turned everything on, but in some cases you would only have, let's say, credit or debit turned on, or maybe gift cards. You may or may not take EBT cards. The manual entry mode gives the customer the option to, if their card is just too beat up to swipe, they can actually hit a button and go through and manually enter the card number and the expiration date and the CVV2 number, which is required for manual entry. So I'm just turned everything on. I'm going to go through the
Hey, Mike, we're not seeing the screen right now.
Oh, you're not seeing the Keystroke screen?
No.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
Now are you seeing the Keystroke screen? All right, I saw a yes. I think Gordon. Thank you. Thanks, Nick, for chiming in. All right, thank you. Anyhow, this is the setup screen in Keystroke under Configuration Manager. And these are the settings, the pin pad option, and I'm going to go ahead and click on Test Pin Pad. I'll kind of give you a play-by-play, maybe hold up the device while I'm doing this. It tells it that it's founded on COM 6. We'll say OK. It's waiting for the pin pad. Please swipe card. I'm going to kind of do it this way here so you can kind of see. Saying please swipe card. I will take this and swipe it. This is the test function, and then I'll just show you how it works in Keystroke. Then it's going to talk about the selecting payment. I have to actually probably bring this over a little more. Sorry about that. I'm going to just select credit in this case. There we go. Then it shows the OK amount screen. I'm going to go ahead and it's for $12.34, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's asking now for a signature. I'll squiggle my little fake signature here. And it shows test completed. And the device goes back to closed. And so I've set this up and tested it. I'm also going under signature capture in Keystroke to also set it up to the Ingenico iSC250, and keep in mind the 350 is the same setup, same port. It actually assigned this already. If I want to do a display on screen, I can do that right now and select test device. First of all, it checks the COM port. Then it pops up and asks for a signature. So I typed in Mike the best I could there, and that's the signature on the screen. I'm going to turn off the feature for testing this on the screen and show you how a transaction will work. So we've really all set it up. It's ready to go. I'm going to go into Sales Manager. We'll do a couple of different types of transactions. We'll start with the basic credit card. So a couple of these here, and if you haven't noticed, it has already moved to please swipe card, so customers can pre-swipe with this device. And let's say I'm going to go ahead and swipe it. So I'm pre-swiping it here, and it asks me for the payment type. I could select credit, and if the transaction is done, I go ahead and click on one of my buttons. It goes out to the device. Now the device is set up to ask to confirm the amount, and I'm going to confirm $3.33. It's going to process through Mercury, and then it comes back asking for the signature, and I'll do this maybe a little bit better here. Yeah, right. And there you go, and it's taken the signature, comes back, and I've had it automatically print a credit card receipt with the signature, because we can do all this in Keystroke now. I might ask if we can see that. Here's the Keystroke report viewer. This is actually a receipt that would show the signature at the bottom. And let me close a few things. I'm going to go back to Keystroke. Let me close this. Back to Keystroke. So that was an example of using it for a credit card. Debit card would be very similar. I'll go ahead and sell the same item. A little different dollar amount here for testing. I'm going to go ahead and notice the screen here in Keystroke says selected by customer. This is the feature of these new devices that whatever the customer selects really kind of applies. If they want to make it a debit, Keystroke will know it's a debit card. If they want to make a credit card, Keystroke will know that. So we just do selected by customer. It asks for the swipe. We'll go ahead and swipe it. Can't quite see the different options here. Whoop. Debit is on the far left of your screen there, and the other options are there. I'll click debit. This will show the PIN number asking to be input. These test accounts, I can use any 4-digit number. It does give you a cash back option. This is where you can take an overpayment. You'll have to have it set up in Keystroke to take overpayment on debit. They can select a different amount, and then Keystroke will approve it for the bigger amount and kick out change. I'm going to say no for right now for the example. Again, it asks to confirm the amount. That's in case you did cash back. It's processing in Keystroke. We get the approval message. I don't think I had skip approval turned on, so I'll hit enter here. This one, because it's debit, it doesn't require a signature. So I'll go ahead and I could print a credit card receipt, but I'll go ahead and save this. This device can also be used just as a signature capture device. A lot of people like this feature. So for instance, I have a customer that comes in and buys different stuff from time to time. And let's sell them something here for on account. Okay, whatever this is. So let's say they want to put this on the customer's account. The Barney's Liquor Store has been set up as an on-account customer. And I'm going to go ahead and I've already set this up, and I'll show you how easy it is in a second here. Select on account. If you want to type in a reference number, you can, or maybe a personal name. Maybe it's Barney's Liquor Store, but it's Betty picking something up. Then it asks to record the signature on the device, which I will do so. This time Billy's signing for it. Comes back, it says signature accepted. Looks like Keystroke is doing something funny here. And then we have the invoice here. Let me put this in full screen. So this could be like an on-account invoice where you actually put it on their account, do upon receipt, and the signature can actually be printed on that invoice. These signatures can also be printed on statements too. Keep that in mind. You can print a statement. So let's say you have a big company and everyone's signing for everything at the hardware store. You can see who signed for what when it's time for the statement. Let me show you quickly how we had that set up. It's very simple in Keystroke. Under Configuration Manager, let me make sure. Thank you, I've got the right thing. I went to Tables and Sales Payment Types. I've set up the on-account payment type to use what we call an external authorization method. So if I click on Auth Method, I've got external here. This is one we ship with. You can create a new one if you want. And I think I'll do that. I'll hit Insert here and just create a new one called SIG. Yeah, let's call it our sign. How's that sound? Then look at the types of choices. If this is an external device, this is where you're not going to be actually using this device for on-account payments to actually go out to any clearinghouse, let's call it. It's not like a Visa or a credit card. It's just going to be an external device to actually do one thing, and I'm choosing it to do the capture signature. I can actually do some other stuff too. If they had a company card, I could tell them to swipe their customer loyalty card and things like that. I'm going to say OK here. Notice this message is saying it's using an external method that Keystroke will not process anything. So that signature goes nowhere. It only stays in Keystroke. Doesn't actually approve anything or their credit worthiness for on-account payments. I'll save this. And that's how you get the signatures to work. And you can do this in Sales Manager. You can do it for on-account payments or ROA payments. And one last thing, I'll just show you how it does work in accounts receivable. If somebody wants to do a ROA payment, they can use this device. So Barney's Liquor Store wants to pay off some money. And I select the Selected by Customer. And let's say they only want to pay off $10 today, because I think that's the limit on these test cards. So I'm going to start with $10. It's going to jump to the pin pad and ask to swipe the card. It's going to ask on the device, which kind of payment would you like it, credit or debit? Well, I'm going to select credit because it'll have a signature. And it's asking me to OK the amount. Did you want to pay off $10 on the account today? It's going to go get an approval. Comes back with approval. Waiting to sign for the credit card. The signatures are getting worse every second. So there you have it. It came back in Keystroke. It says approved on the device. Shows the approval code here. I'll just say OK. And the last step in Keystroke is how do I want to apply that payment? And that's up to whoever wants to do it. Maybe they want to do it this way. And we'll save it. So there's a quick example of how the new Ingenico works. I'm going to go ahead and set the device down here. We'll go back to the presentation, and then I'll open everything up here for questions at this time. And let me know if you have any specific questions I can answer about the device. Someone's going to say they're hearing crickets. All right, if anyone has any questions I can answer, please let me know. And this device can be purchased through JR's POS Depot. All righty. Well, I hope this went well.
Mike?
Yes. Who was that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mike, can you do a food stamp or an EBT process?
Yeah, we can do that. I'll show you how that's set up in Keystroke real quick here. I might put you on mute. There's a little bit of an echo, but I'll be right back. Let me try that and show that to you. We do have EBT set up in our tutor or sample data. This would be, I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone at this time, and I'll come back. Under table, sales payment types, we have, for instance, food stamps. And we could also set up EBT cash benefits as a different payment type. This one right here talks about this authorization method being KP Food. It actually is an EBT food stamp payment type that gets sent to Mercury versus EBT cash benefits. It does use the card reader of duckput. It's a duckput encrypted pin pad, even though it's end-to-end duckput. And I'll just say OK here. So I'll go show you this, how this works. And I don't think we need to set up anything else. Now this is about food stamps the way I have it set up, and so I would find some food stamp items. I'm trying to think of what we have for food stamps here. There we go. I found candy. That's not real food, but so down here it shows that the food stamp is for $15. There is tax on it, but if it's paid by food stamps, I think we take care of that. So if I go selected by customer, and this is if they decide to pay with a credit card, it'll be $16.24. I'm going to swipe the card. On this screen here, on this screen you'll see EBT cash and EBT food down below. If I select EBT food, it's going to ask me for the PIN number. It does ask me for the correct amount. Notice the $15 amount here. Because I'm paying with an EBT card, it takes the tax off of this. And I'm saying OK. And I haven't actually tested. I think I'm over the balance here. But that's the way it should happen. It should get approved right there. I might have to do a little more digging. I think it's we're not supposed to do things over $10 on these devices, so let me try this a little different way. I know it works, I just don't know. Let me sell $8 worth of candy. All right, let's try this again. I think it's the $10. It's $10.99 maximum. Sorry, select my customer. Sorry, have to slide the card. Okay, so now it's going to ask me for which type. I'm in a loop here or something. There we go. EBT food. And it should come back, ask me for the PIN. That does show the $8 amount. The tax has been taken out. See if I get an approval now, because it's so there it was less than the $10 amount. So I got an approval. And the last step is it should put it in as food stamp and take off the tax, and let's see what's going on here. And there it is. There's the end of the sale. It took care of it. I didn't have skip approved message turned off. That's why I had to hit OK twice to confirm that the amount was taken. I kind of like the new skip approved message. It skips it unless it's declined. You'll always see a decline. It only skips it if it's approved. It can then move on to something. I didn't actually have it set up for signature on the EBT. Usually PIN-based cards, you do not have to get a signature. And lastly, I think I can, this is just printing a receipt. This is what I think I had set up for regular credit cards. So I think I answered your question there. Let me unmute everybody here and see if we have any more questions.
Yes, you did. Thanks, Mike.
Okay. These are great little devices. JR's POS Depot can quote you on the price. And they can be shipped to you, and you can use them in Keystroke right away.
Mike, Bernard.
Hi, Kennard.
Hi, I'm actually on my phone right now. But are any of these devices alive in the field yet?
Good question. We just released Build 50, gosh, was it last week, I think, where these devices were introduced. So I would probably answer no. I don't think I know of anybody using them right now. But these are new devices, and they seem to be working really well. The programming for them was a lot easier than some of the other devices.
Okay, I talked to Scott Campbell yesterday, and he's going to install some of the devices next week, so I'll just follow up with him. I just wanted to see if they work. I mean, I've had such terrible experiences with these MagTech iPads.
Yeah, the MagTech iPads was the swiping. They'd have to swipe multiple times, or a certain speed was the magic speed to swipe it at. We kind of saw that here. I don't know. They seem to be getting better, or people have either gotten used to using them. And we had the ID Tech Sign and Pay, had some problems with that. Those have been resolved in like Build 48, so we really feel comfortable using the ID Tech Sign and Pay device. Okay? Any other questions? All right, well, great. Thank you very much for your time. Give us a call here at the office if you have any questions or need more information about the devices, and we can get you the driver too, okay? Okay, thank you. Have a good day.